It's Ron Reeder digs the universe.
I'm Ron Reeder, and this is Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Camera is kaput, having to use the old webcam, so tonight's the webcam episode, and the episode is notes on the death of Rob Reiner, so bear with me tonight. My setup is a little weird, and I'm not used to it. And hopefully I won't get used to it, but anyway, Rob Reiner. I've never been a huge fan of Rob Reiner, but I've always liked his work, from playing Mike Stivic on All in the Family in the 1970s when I was a kid, to directing This Is Spinal Tap when I was in high school, and then many more films over the decades. Reiner has always created solid, compelling work about real human beings, and he's been around for just as long as I can remember, and reading the news of his death has just been a big, terrible drag, and then it got worse. Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were stabbed to death by their son, apparently after a fierce argument they had with each other the night before at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. The 32-year-old Nick Reiner, who has suffered for many years from addiction and mental illness, is now in custody awaiting trial. Patricide, matricide, living on the streets, drugs, greatness, art. There's probably some real tragedy here in the classical Greek sense, but I don't feel like sifting through all the literary aspects of this right now. It just stings too much. Then President Trump jumped into the shit. Here's his Truth Social post on the topic. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome. It's all in caps for Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy, all in caps, by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. What a fucking asshole. I don't usually quote Trump so extensively on this show because it's generally just a bunch of incoherent bullshit, but this one's pretty straightforward, and I think it tells us a great deal about where the MAGA movement is at this point in history. And some conservatives, unfortunately no one in elected office at the moment, but some conservatives led by Piers Morgan and Marjorie Taylor Greene seem to understand that this Trump post is telling us a lot about MAGA. I don't know whether this turn of events, their criticism, reflects Trump's ever-increasing lame duck status, or perhaps MAGA is just starting to understand that they really are a cruel and barbaric fascist political movement, or both. But their reaction to Trump's obituary for Reiner, it seems legit. They're condemning Trump for saying that. More cynically, though, the conservative criticism of Trump here might also have to do with the wave of McCarthyite darkness that descended over the land after the assassination of St. Charlie Kirk. Like they gotta keep up appearances or something, try to justify the dozens of people whose lives they ruined simply because they weren't being respectful enough or some such, as in you will mourn St. Charlie and Rob Reiner too, or else, or, something to that effect. But whatever. Kirk was a demagogue, a champion of xenophobia, racism, homophobia, sexism, who relentlessly pushed poison as his career, as a lifestyle. Kirk was a fascist leader who made the world a worse place. Rob Reiner, in stark comparison, was an artist and entertainer, a damned good one, who had a political side. He went to protest. He was an old school activist. He wasn't a leader or a demagogue, not in the way St. Charlie was. There's just no comparing the two, and just if that's what's going on. At any rate, I'm disgusted right now. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.